Welcome back to Positive Chat with Riesa. If you're new to the show, rest assured there's only one thing you need to know. On this program, we only talk about the good things happening around the world. Now, that can be easy to do when work is going well, the family is happy, and life is all sunshine and rainbows, but we know that's not always the case, right? So even though we can and should acknowledge that there has been a lot of loss and tragedy at the start of 2025, let's take a page out of Mr. Rogers' book. When he was a boy and would see scary things in the news, his mother would say to him, "Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping." So in a few minutes, we're going to do just that and meet someone who Mr. Rogers would most certainly consider a helper, founder of One Good Deed, Michelle Christensen. But first, here's an interesting question for you. What if I told you that fairy tales could help tackle a major real-world issue? Sounds a little out there, right? But some researchers actually believe that a bit of fantasy could be the secret to fighting the obesity epidemic in kids, especially when traditional methods like dieting or lectures about food just aren't cutting it. Take Steve Mathusi, a psychology lecturer at the University of Nairobi. He and his team decided to put the power of storytelling to the test. They wondered if telling kids a fairy tale could actually influence their food choices. So they came up with a story about a hero, a painter, who would create these beautiful, colorful murals around his town. But there was a twist. After eating too much junk food, the painter gets sick and can't paint anymore. The only way for him to get better? Why, eating magical fruits and veggies, of course. So they split the kids into two groups. One group heard the story with the magical foods, while the other heard the same story, but minus the food part. The result? Well, the kids who heard the tale with the healthy eating message actually chose more vegetables. And get this, the effects lasted for 2 weeks. Steve's hope is that by changing the story, we can change the behavior, especially since it's so much easier to form healthy habits when we're young. So who knew? A little fairy tale magic could be the key to helping kids make better food choices. Don't go anywhere. Up next, we're going to learn about an amazing charitable organization and discuss what their founder calls ripples of kindness. Trust me, you are not going to want to miss this inspirational chat. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Positive Chat with Riesa. It's time now to jump into our feel-good story of the day, coming to us all the way out of the Twin Cities. Please help me welcome to the show, founder of One Good Deed, Michelle Christensen. Michelle, hi, how are you?
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you for being with us. And as I mentioned off the top of the show, you are the founder of One Good Deed, but there may be some people watching who aren't familiar with this organization. So can you explain what, or perhaps who, is One Good Deed? What is this organization about?
Sure. One Good Deed is an organization that's strictly volunteer based that does one good deed every month based in kindness only, from having a charity garage sale to making cards for seniors. So every single month I put an event out onto our webpage. Everything is based in kindness and meant and intended to ripple out into different communities that need just a little bit of perhaps visibility and, validation.
Amazing. And if I understand correctly, you started this in 2017, is that correct?
2017 is when it did create itself. It's a very organically created group. We had our first unofficial event. And after the event, people said, "What will you be doing next?" I had 56 people with me that day. And wow. I said, if I do more things, would you help me? And they all said yes. And so that event created One Good Deed. And from that point forward, I tried to create events that would speak to a little bit of everybody, from benefiting seniors to benefiting veterans to benefiting animals, a little bit of everything for everybody. So everybody feels included and everybody has a place to put their kindness. And I've found that our group appeals to many people, just based on the openness of what we do.
And based on the fact that, as you shared, all 56 people said yes. I think that in and of itself is a testament to the fact that deep down, all of us desire that opportunity to give back, if you will. And I do want to talk about your most recent event, which was heavily featured in the news, which is actually how I learned about One Good Deed. So I'm excited to talk about this. This was an event called Scarf Bombing. Now, usually I don't have stories featuring the word bombing on the show. So let's set our viewers at ease and explain what the Scarf Bombing event was.
Well, and I will start off with why it's named scarf bombing. It's literally an explosion of kindness. And
wow.
when it came to be, it just made sense after I took a look around. And what scarf bombing is we in the state of Minnesota, it gets very, very cold here in the winter. So beginning in October, we start collecting donations of warm winter items, whether it's hats, jackets, coats, scarves, tents, sleeping bags, blankets, quilts. We take all of those items and we collect them October, November, and December. And then the first Sunday in January, we take those items and we bring them out into our metro parks where the unsheltered live. And so the intention of this particular good deed is to see those people where they are, where they rest, and just reach out in kindness and help them. Those items are very specifically intended for the people that come and visit the park. They're not lost.
Right.
And that's what the tag says. The tag says, I'm not lost, I'm yours. So the entire park is divvied up and it's touched, and there's a little bit of everything everywhere. So whether it's food or diapers or formula or blessing bags or winter items, we put everything out. We had 550 bags last year, and we went to 4 parks in one weekend, in one day. This year, we had 725 bags of donations, and we went to 5 parks because we had so many donations, and we did it over the course of 2 weekends. And we've been doing this for 8 years. One Good Deed started because of the first time we scarf bombed. I did not realize the impact that it would have both on the community and the volunteers, and it spoke to everybody.
I want to actually talk about that impact, as you mentioned. What was the reception, the feedback? Obviously, on our end, being a part of that, giving back, it feels good, it feels right. What kind of feedback did you receive from those who are actually benefiting from this kind act?
Well, I think that One Good Deed is a bridge between both. So the volunteers obviously felt impact, and so did the community at large, the unsheltered that came out. I will often tell the volunteers, after you're done putting your bag of items out, keep the bag that it's in, because what happens is the unsheltered will come up to a volunteer and say, I really need an extra large jacket. Can you help me find one? And then we take that bag and we quote unquote go shopping with the person that's in need. So the transaction and the human connection between both of them, I believe that is priceless. And I've heard it from both sides. So I think the impact between the two communities is shared. You know, on both sides that there's a vast amount of impact, and everybody leaves with a very warm space in their heart. It's beautiful.
Amazing. It sounds so beautiful. I imagine, even if this was the one event that your organization put on and nothing else, this would be enough of a reason for One Good Deed to stay afloat and be out there and keep doing what you're doing. But as you mentioned, you do events almost every month, which is incredible considering what you've already just shared with this scarf bombing event. So I'd love to ask, just maybe, what are some of your favorite events that have particularly impacted you? Obviously, the scarf bombing one is a big one, but maybe outside of this one.
Right. We do host many events. We're hitting our 100th event this year.
Congratulations. Wow.
Thank you. We've been around for 8 years, and there's 12 events a year. So we're getting there. I would say one of my other favorite events, personally, that we engage in every year is something called Backpacks for Bridging. It's our August event, and what we do, very similar to scarf bombing, is we collect donations for backpacks for unsheltered youth. We purpose the backpacks together over the course of August, and then We do 125 backpacks and 125 personal care bags. To watch those kids as they pick them up and they look inside, they take them over to the sidewalk and they open them up and they look in there, it's amazing. I really have hope for the future, and I think we need to give them the tools to be good stewards of the future. And that's what One Good Deed can do. That's our piece that we do, and lots of other people in the community do other things as well. But that to me is a very special, engaging, and important good deed that we do. And it's a sizable one as well, just like the scarf bombing. But I know the impact is tremendous.
Absolutely. And I know something like this doesn't just happen without generous support, without other people providing their resources, contributing gifts. How do you support yourselves, and how do you have the ability to do all these kind acts, and how can people continue to help that happen?
Sure. If anybody would like to engage, we're based in Golden Valley metro area of Minnesota, so it is specific to where we are. We always welcome anybody that wants to come in kindness. There's no signing up if you want to just pop in, or if you are remote and you like the idea of what we do, you can financially donate as well. We do have a website, and people can donate on there, and 100% of anything that anybody donates goes right out into kindness. I also have a full-time job, and so I don't take any money from One Good Deed. Everything that's donated to us, 100%, goes right back out into the community. And that's how One Good Deed works. There's no membership fees. There's no obligation to attend a certain amount of events. It really just is, if our event speaks to you and you have the time, all we ask for is kindness. That's it. There's nothing more, no obligation, no rules, no regulations. And I really do try to keep that intentional, because kindness is a beautiful, wonderful thing. And it looks different for everybody. Just like we all look different, so does kindness. And so whatever form that is, even if you don't engage with One Good Deed, you can still be kind. And for me, I wear lipstick every day, because when I walk and I see people, I immediately smile, because I want them to know that I see them. I see you, and this smile is for you, and I say hi. And that in itself, to me, is one of the kindest things you can do, is just to engage another person and give them visibility and importance and see them for who they are. And it's amazing. It's just lipstick, but it's more than that to me, because my smile comes from my kindness. I think that's one of the greatest things that we can offer each other. Good deeds are wonderful, but it doesn't have to be a huge thing that you do for somebody. You can just be kind, hold open a door, or pick up a plastic bag that's skittering across the sidewalk, and so the next generation has a clean planet. There's so many ways to be kind. We just need to kind of remember it and make that a habit of, where can I see it? Where can I put it? And hopefully One Good Deed is a place where people can put specific kindness, but everyday kindness can happen anytime, anywhere.
Absolutely. That's amazing. My final question to you is actually going to be if you had any parting words or advice for those watching who maybe aren't close enough to engage with One Good Deed, but are inspired by your story, just as I am, and desire that ability to make their own positive impact in their community. So even something as simple as just smiling at strangers walking by, what a beautiful example. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think kindness can be really anywhere. If you're pulling from a full cup, and that's part of it too. I think one of the most important things we need to remember is to be kind to ourselves. If you come from a place that doesn't feel good, remind yourself that you're doing the best that you can. And whatever that looks like, if you're doing the best that you can and your cup is as full as it can be, if you have extra in any form, that's it's a beautiful thing to share with somebody else that just may not have extra in that moment. And then they ripple it forward to the next person. I call them ripples of kindness because you don't necessarily see the shores that your ripples in the water. You might not see the shores that it touch, but know that you did something really good and it will impact someone somewhere. And that's the most important thing, is that we care for each other.
Well said. Absolutely. Michelle, you've been an absolute inspiration. I can't, I'm smiling too, just in talking with you. It's just, I feel it. You radiate kindness and beauty inside and out. Thank you so much for being with us. We're going to have your contact info come up on the screen again for those at home who wish to engage with one good deed. And for all of you, I want to say thank you for watching Positive Chat with Riesa. If you like what you see, be sure to follow our programming for more feel-good news stories. Until next time, I hope you have a positively uplifting week.